everyone. Welcome back. My name is Luanele Khasu. I am a clinical psychologist and a CEO of Oasis Wellness. Oasis Wellness is a hub for mental wellness. So we've got different products that will help you intervene with some of the things that you may be experiencing within your mental health. So we've got therapy, we've got aromatherapy, we've got pharmaceutical products, supplements, educational elements, so masterclasses, courses, training, and all of that. And really, I'm building, and the team, we are building Oasis Wellness to be a hub for everything that you need for mental wellness. So if you're not a therapy person, you'll find a product, you'll find a journal, you'll find the podcast, you'll find an educational element, you'll find a masterclass, you'll find a course. So everything that you need to take care of your mental wellness, you will find it at Oasis, and that's what we're building it up to be. So so often we add new products so that you can have your mental wellness marketplace. All right. So before we talk about what we're going to talk about today, so before we discuss that, I want to check in with you. Have you had a moment of pause? And this is so important for me because I think we go through so much of life just running after things, working so hard, studying, working, play, children, husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, all of it. Like we spend so much time doing things and quantitatively, and by quantitatively, I mean trying to acquire things in numbers. So just trying to do a lot. And sometimes we don't enjoy the qualitative experience of our lives because we just don't breathe. We just don't take a moment to pause. We just don't take a moment to gather ourselves. And so I want you to pause. I want you to take a bit of a breath. I want you to feel yourself breathing so that you can slow down your breathing. If your jaw is clenched, unclench it. If your shoulders are stiff, try loosen them up a little bit. If your feet are crunched up, try ground them a little bit. But try as often as possible in the day to check in with your body, because when your body is tense, it's telling you haven't been taking a moment of pause. And I actually, I say this a lot, that it was so intentional for me when we launched our aromatherapy products to be called pause, because I truly want people to have products and things that actually help people say, I want to pause. I want to switch up a candle and pause. I want to get in a bath and put in my bath bomb and pause. I'm feeling anxious, so I'm going to take some essential oils and pause. I want a space that smells good. I love a space that smells good. All my clients will tell you, my office always smells good. And I want to have a space that smells good because that allows you to just check in with yourself, to just take a moment and enjoy the environment that you have. So, have you taken a moment of pause? If you haven't, please do that. And if you haven't checked out our pause products, please check them out on our website. It's omwhub.co.za. Anyway, what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about money. We're talking about money, money, money. Today we're talking about money, but more than money, we're talking about, I called it financial therapy because, it's therapy for your money behavior, right? I want us to talk about the emotional drivers in the way that we relate to money. Because whether we like it or not, the decisions we make related to money are always emotionally based. Whether you like to believe that or not, but they are always emotionally based. So we're not talking spreadsheets, we're not talking budgeting, we are not talking lack of budgeting for some people, but we're talking about the emotional drivers for your money decisions. Why are you making the money decisions that you are making? What is informing it? What is driving it? What is pushing it? All right? Because most of the times, all of the time, those decisions that you're making about money are actually emotionally based. Okay. So one of the things you have to think about is what has been your pattern of money. I think we need to start there. So if you just allow yourself to cast your mind, what has been your pattern with money? Are you more frugal or stingy? Are you more like explosive and you spend quite a bit? Are you a saver? Are you an investor? Do you have zero savings? Do you have zero investments? What is your money trajectory? What has been your money journey all along? Because before you even continue listening, I want you to take a little bit of a moment to think about that. Because if you don't know, then this podcast is just going to be information for you. But actually, I don't want it to be information for you. I want it to be transformative. I want you to think about it for yourself and then apply it to some of the behaviors that you have seen doing for yourself. So just take a little bit of a self-reflective moment. What do you generally do? Okay. All right. So we're going to go straight into it. I have 5 emotional patterns that I have identified for this conversation that I think show up in money behaviors. So these are the 5 drivers that I've thought about. The first one is fear-based decisions. Are you the kind of person who makes money decisions based on fear? What do I mean by that? So sometimes people who have a fear-based decision will have oversaving, hoarding money, or refusing to invest due to the fear or lack of past trauma, right? If you grew up poor, and you are thinking to yourself, I definitely never ever want to find myself in a place where I don't have that much control over my money, or I'm that poor again, where I don't know where food is going to come from, where I don't know where my school fees are going to come from, where I don't know whether I'm able to buy clothes, afford clothes, or all of those things. If you grew up with money being scarce, you might find yourself exhibiting this decision behaviors. You might find yourself making money decisions based out on fear. So you are scared to spend money because what if it's not there anymore? And even when you do have money, you're hoarding it and you're not investing it because it kind of feels like you're throwing it away, or it kind of feels like you're letting go of it. And you want to see those zeros in your account. You want to see the numbers in the account. So never mind that you're investing in your future. What is driving you is your current and feeling like you need to see the money, liquid cash in your account, or some people actually cash even on their hands. There are people who love carrying cash, and they love carrying cash because they want to see themselves have that money, but they actually don't spend it. They're afraid of spending it because they're afraid of what that's going to be like. What if I don't have it tomorrow? What if I invest and actually I need that money? So are you a person who makes decisions with your money based on fear? Right? The next driver is guilt or obligation spending, right? So these are people who are spending black tax. So we all know what black tax is, or maybe some of you don't, but black tax is the obligation you have to spend money on your family, or relatives, or the people that you have that dependent on you. It's called black tax because most of the time it's black people who actually do that, because once you start working, then now your responsibility is to take care of your family back home, or responsibilities or relatives or all of that. So it kind of feels like tax because you don't have a choice, but you do it. And it's because of the situation, and it's because I can go into the history of all of this. I have almost like a chapter on this on my PhD around black tax, because it is a big thing. It is a big thing if you're thinking about the lives of South Africans and the history of South Africa. Black people have been disadvantaged economically, and sometimes it is a reality that the line of poverty ends with you because you're now working in corporate, you have a thriving business or whatever, and therefore you are responsible for your family. Now the thing about black tax, or finding yourself constantly bailing other people financially, overspending to make up for your absence. So these are all behaviors that are driven by the guilt or obligation spending. The thing about that is, if you haven't worked on that emotion of I'm absent, therefore I want to show up with money, or I have an obligation to take care of my family, if you haven't explored what you feel or think about that, it can be such a resentful spending, right? You can feel very resentful to spend your money on it. You can feel very resentful to send money every month. Can feel very resentful to doing some of these things. And one of the things that I always say to people who are responsible for other people is determine from your budget what is it that you can afford, and communicate, because I think this is the biggest thing with people that are responsible for other people that they don't do is communicate. Communicate to your family and saying, listen, this is what I can what's the word? Contribute. This is what I can what's the word? Oh my gosh, it literally has left me. But this is what I'm commit. This is what I can commit to within the family, for the food, for your spending. And therefore anything outside of this, I'm asking you to figure out other ways or to find means. Because the thing about this spending that comes with guilt and obligation is, at some point, the people that you are responsible for relax. They don't, if you're taking care of your sister, sometimes they don't go and find a job because now they are comfortable that they're receiving an allowance all the time. They don't want to sell things. There are things that are beneath them. So all kinds of things. And you become resentful. So you see them going to a party with the allowance that you sent them to, and you're like, I can't even afford to go to a restaurant because I had to send you money. So that creates a lot of emotions of resentment as a result of that obligation. So one thing I always say is, determine from your budget what is it that you can afford to give without resentment, and therefore give that. Otherwise, you're actually not helping anyone. The other thing that's very important with people who are giving to other people out of guilt or obligation is, make sure that you are doing the best that you can, right? You can not overspend, not overdo it because you're feeling guilty, not overdo it because you're trying to buy people out, right? Buying gifts so that people can like you, all of those things. Do the best that you can, okay? So remember what I said when I started. I said everything we do with our money is evoking an emotion. So when you're hoarding your money, you are actually trying to prevent yourself from feeling that sense of out of control, that I'm poor, I have no money. So you hoard it out of fear because actually you're afraid of spending it. And when you are spending what drives you is guilt. What you are trying to prevent is feeling guilty for, I'm having sushi and I don't know if they have electricity at home. So you are preventing that guilt, and therefore you spend out of that guilt. But in actual fact, if you are putting it out there for people, if you're committing, or if you're actually buying the things that you know are necessary for your family, that helps you quite a lot with that absorption of that guilt. But you have to work on the emotion in order to fix your money patterns. All right. The third thing is self-worth and identity spending. How many of us think that we are going to feel good about ourselves when we have certain things? Right? When you've got that Chanel bag, when you've got those Valentino shoes, when you have that Merc, when you have that car, when you have a Range Rover, we think that when we spend on these things that are opulent, that are beautiful, that increases our self-worth. And people who have wealth but no confidence or self-esteem will tell you it does not do that. It cannot fill the hole of you not seeing yourself. It cannot fill your hole of you not understanding yourself. It cannot fill the hole of you not being able to identify yourself outside of what you own and possess. Okay, so sometimes you find people spending money because they're trying to uplift their own self-worth, and it actually won't do that, right? So think about yourself. Are you buying things to feel enough? Are you buying things to appear successful? Are you buying things to avoid feelings of inadequacy? So maybe, you got dumped and you're just like, you know what, I'm going to go on a shopping spree. By the way, retail therapy is not therapy. Yes, I'm going to say it again for the people at the back. Retail therapy is not therapy, it's just avoidance, and it's spending money. You're spending your money to avoid feeling whatever feeling that it is that you have. I'm not saying don't go shopping, go shop, but be honest with yourself. What's the reason you're shopping? Are you shopping because you love an item? Are you shopping because you need an item? Or are you shopping because you feel so sad and you're just trying to get a moment of excitement? And people who do retail therapy will tell you, when they're being honest with themselves and with other people, they will tell you after that moment of excitement, the feelings come back again. The loneliness comes back again. The feeling of rejection comes back again. That abandoned feeling, it comes back again because you haven't solved anything. All you did was buy yourself a moment of excitement. It's like a drug. A drug doesn't fix anything. Alcohol doesn't fix anything. Adrenaline doesn't fix anything. It gives you a moment, just a moment of pleasure, a moment of feeling good about yourself, a moment of excitement, and it dissipates so quickly after that. And then the hole feels like it's even bigger than it was when you started. That hole of, oh, I'm still lonely. Yeah, I've got all of these 50, 60, 100 shoes and this beautiful closet, but actually I still feel lonely. Right? So it doesn't. So self-worth or identity spending, are you spending because you're trying to, pick yourself up? All right. And it's not saying don't have 50 shoes. I'm not saying don't have 100 shoes. I'm saying know why you have 50 shoes and why you have 100 shoes and how you came into buying some of those stuff. And sometimes you buy them just because they're beautiful. Great. But what's the emotion that's driving that? Because you like nice things, because you're trying to buy something, or maybe you're buying them for a friend, or maybe it's your thing, you like collecting and having that sense of looking at all of your pink shoes or your blue shoes or your gray shoes or your sneakers. Like, it makes you feel a sense of fulfillment. But be honest with the feeling of why you're spending on the things that you're spending on. The fourth thing is avoidance and denial, right? Are you ignoring your bills? Are you avoiding to check your account? Are you procrastinating your financial planning? Have you not done your will? Have you not done your budget in a long time? Do you just close your eyes and say, well, this is Russian roulette. Whichever debit orders wins. The other ones, unfortunately for you. Are you avoiding your money situation? Because sometimes the driver for your patterns with your money is just you have overcommitted in other ways and now you just don't have enough. And then you live in avoidance. You spend your credit card and you avoid what it looks like. You have an overdraft and you avoid what that looks like for you. Or you under spending and you just kind of like you have nothing. Like your bra is screaming, that one bra that you keep wearing all the time is screaming, can you give me another person to let me breathe? Can you buy another bra? Can you just like relieve me, right? Like maybe your underwear is screaming like, look at how gorgeous this person is. But I mean, girl, if you passed out in the middle of the street, what will people say about this, right? Maybe you are avoiding spending the money. Maybe you are avoiding not spending the money and you are overspending the money. But are you driven by avoidance and denial of your current financial situation. Whether you have a lot and you feel shame about it, and let's not deny, sometimes we do feel shame about having the lot. You feel shame because you have much and other people don't. You feel shame to spend your money because you're actually thinking about, oh wow, like, I mean, I saw that person on the side of the road. I didn't give them money, but look at me trying to do all of these things. You feel shame for what you have. You feel shame for the success that you have. You feel shame for being blessed in the way that you have. Or you feel shame for not having and living like a person who has, right? Is avoidance one of your drivers in the way you spend or not spend with your money? How are you engaging with your money? And what is driving that? Is it avoidance and denial? And if you are one of those people who are dodging calls from service providers because you haven't paid for stuff, where your debit orders are playing Russian roulette, I promise you, the anxiety that comes with thinking about getting help is bigger than actually just getting the help. Just go and get the help. Have a conversation with a planner. Have a conversation with a person that's going to help you climb out of that situation. People have climbed out of places where you just like, you had how much in debt? What? How did you do it? Yes, it's gonna take time. Yes, it's not gonna be easy. Yes, it's gonna feel painful. But I promise you, the anticipation anxiety of getting help is actually bigger than laying it all on the table and being able to do it and just tackling the situation. And you will be so happy you did that, because maybe in 6 months you might be in a better position. And maybe when you sell the car that you can't actually afford, or downgrade your car, or move out of your home and rent for a couple of months while you rent out your place, maybe some of those decisions are actually going to help you climb out of that place. But don't avoid the situation, because what you avoid, you amplify. I have a whole podcast on this thing. If you haven't listened to it, go find it. It's called What You Avoid, You Amplify. Avoidance doesn't help you with anything. It actually makes things worse, right? Because now your interest is going up. Now you're not consolidating your debt. Now you're not doing the things that need to be done. There's so many YouTubers. There are so many people who are helping people in financial situations. So if you are that person, do not avoid. And if you are a person who's got a lot of money in your account and you're not doing anything about it, you also need to go find a person to help you out, help you diversify your portfolio, help you figure out how to utilize, invest, and save that money in an effective way. But do not avoid your money situation, whatever it looks like. Okay. And number 5, childhood scripts. What do I mean by that? When you grew up hearing, we can't afford this, money is the root of all evil, how your life is dependent on money doesn't make you happy, all of these things. Sometimes we grow up with narratives of what it means to have money or to not have money, and these things are making you have patterns with your money behavior that are because of some of these things that you're playing in your head. So what are the things you believe about money? What are your money philosophies? When you have money, what does that say about you? How do you act when you have money? How do you act when you don't have money? Does it steal your joy? Does it take away from you feeling worthy of yourself? Does it make you feel like you are not enough when you don't have it? Right? Because what you act like when you don't have money, let me tell you, even when you do have money, you're not going to know how to cultivate joy, even when it's there. Learn how to live within your means. Learn how to actually beneath your means is probably the best thing, because the economy is so up and down. Like, you want to be on the safe place, but learn to live in a way that you can afford and be happy even where you are at, because this constant trying to climb, and there's nothing wrong with wanting better for yourself, but it cannot be the root of you saying, I'm only going to be happy when I make this much money in a month, when I have these many things. Then you are always going to postpone your happiness based on some of that. There is actually a chapter in my book that says, don't postpone your happiness. So it's so important to not postpone your happiness because you think you're going to get happier in the future when something else happens, when you have something else. If you can't be joyful with no money, best believe you're not going to be joyful even with the money. Yes, it might give you the trip, it might give you the shoes, it might give you the band equipment, it might give you everything that you want, but it's not going to give you an internal sense of contentment and joy if you were never able to do that even to begin with. Okay, so do you know what the driver of your money pattern is? Is it fear-based? Is it guilt or obligation? Is it self-worth and identity? Is it avoidance and denial? Or is it something from your childhood? Is it the things that you've been told? Is it the things that you've believed about yourself? Is it the things that you've seen around you, right? What is it that actually makes you spend money the way that you do? I'm wrapping up. So how can you heal from this? So there is a masterclass where we go step by step into unraveling some of these patterns, right? So now that you've identified them and maybe you found your driver, and there are many other drivers, these are the 5 that I picked, that I think they are generally more universal to people. But if you want to go deeper into the how, then there definitely is a masterclass. You can go into our website and sign up for that masterclass so we can work through it together. Remember, the things you are doing with your money are always emotionally based, right? And you have to believe that you can do it. You are not going to create wealth unless you believe you are worthy of that wealth. If you keep looking down on yourself, if you keep thinking that I don't deserve it, if you have all of these negative connotations and negative things, what's the word? I even forgot what the word is. Associations with money, you're not going to be able to utilize money in an effective way, and you're not even going to be able to go out for it. Be honest with yourself. If you want to be wealthy, be honest you want to be wealthy, and be honest with what you want to do with that wealth, right? Be honest with that, because the heart knows the truth. And actually, it's so hard to go against our hearts, hey? It's so hard to say, my heart says this, but I'm going to, in my actions and my behavior, I'm going to do that. It's very hard. So it's very important to know what's happening in your heart. Okay. So how do you start healing some of your money stories? You have to name the pattern. You have to understand the pattern. So awareness is very key. And in how you get awareness, like I said, there is a masterclass where we go in depth in that. Get curious, not critical, right? Ask yourself, where does this come from? Where did I start seeing it? Did my money behavior change at some point? What was the reason for that change? Start small, right? Do that. You know that thing where you print your bank statement and you look through all the things that you're doing with your money. Start small. Start there. Understand what you are doing with your money, what you're not doing with your money. Understand the desire of where you want to go, but also the habits of where you are at. Because you can have desires and dreams all you like. If your habits do not support the desire, you're not going to get there. You can wish to pass an exam, but if you're not studying for the exam, you can wish all you like and you won't pass the exam. So the desire has to be supported by the habit. And if the habits are not there to cultivate this money life you want to have in the future, you're still not going to have that money life. Okay, so start small. Financial boundaries. This is in relationships. This was with family. This is with friends. Stop buying love with money. Right? I know some people use this whole thing of my love language is giving gifts. Yeah, sure, it's giving gifts. Maybe you love giving gifts. Maybe you love receiving gifts. What's the emotion behind that? Remember, everything we do with our money, there's an emotion behind it. Why do you feel like you need to give a gift rather than tell a person you love them? Why do you feel like you need to show up with something rather than just show up as yourself? Right? Why is your presence only not enough? And even if it is a gift thing for your love language, what kinds of gifts are you giving? Are you thinking, ooh, they're not going to like this because it looks too cheap? Ooh, I need to give them something that's so better than last year. What's the conversation and the thoughts you're having in your head as you're picking some of these gifts? Sometimes we hide a lot behind this pop psychology and TikTok psychology because, we are all psychologists now in South Africa, aren't we? All right, last thing, anchor your money habits in your values, not your wounds. Can I say that for the people at the back? Anchor your money habits in your values and not your wounds. What are some of the things you are doing because of the wounds that you have felt? Someone made you feel so small and they didn't buy you something. They didn't get you something. They didn't give you food. They were stingy when they were buying nice groceries. You lived with relatives and they bought nice groceries and they gave their children donuts and they didn't give you donuts. And now here you are buying donuts every day. You never got ice cream and ice cream was reserved for certain people in your family and you didn't get ice cream, and here you are filling your entire freezer with ice cream. You never had clothes when you grew up, and now here are you buying clothes all the time and it's overflowing that you don't even know the clothes that you have. What are the wounds that you have that you are trying to fill with your money habits? What ways did you feel helpless? Did you feel hopeless that you are now trying to control with your money? In what ways do you feel like you are worthy because you've got this money? In what ways are you treating other people different because of your money? Anchor your money habits in your values and not your wounds. Understand your wounds. Because let me tell you, it's not even just about money. It's about relationships. It's about people. It's about eating. It's about your weight. It's about everything. If you don't understand your wounds, if you don't understand the places where you've been hurt, if you don't understand the things that have happened to you, the things that you believe have happened because of you, things you believe they happened for you, all of those things, the narratives, the story you tell yourself about yourself and about your life, if you feel like God doesn't want you to have beautiful things, if you feel like beautiful things are reserved for other people and not for you, all of these things are actually coming out in the patterns of how you relate to your money and the things that you have. You don't negotiate a salary. You don't negotiate a raise. You don't negotiate anything because you don't believe you are worthy of all of that. You believe other people are worthy and you are not. Or you are so delusional, because some of us are delulu. You are so delusional in thinking it doesn't matter how you treat other people. It doesn't matter because you have money and you have a reason to do that. What are your wounds? What are the stories you're telling yourself? What are the thoughts that you have because of your money habits? I'm going to do a bit of a recap. The 5 drivers of your money decisions and patterns: it's fear-based, guilt or obligation, self-worth and identity spending, avoidance and denial, childhood scripts. And one of the things that you can start doing: naming the pattern, getting curious and not critical, starting small, financial boundaries, and anchoring your money habits. Now, remember, there's a lot that we can do. There's a lot we can go into. This is like a 20-minute podcast. Like I said, we go in depth into this in our masterclass about the financial therapy. But here are some of the questions that I want you to really reflect on by yourself. When you think about money, what feeling comes up first? Right? What comes up for you? Do you feel safer when you have money or when you spend it? And what did you learn about money growing up that you are still living in that script? Right? What did you think you learned about this money that you're living in that? And should you be changing some of that? Okay. And some of us have gotten really beautiful money lessons from our parents, right? But sometimes we haven't, right? And you have to analyze for yourself, where do you stand? And what's your money story? Okay, I hope this was super, super helpful, and I am definitely going to see you on the next one. And check out our website for some of these masterclasses. We've got other masterclasses. We've got also a building a healthy relationship with yourself. I've done the podcast on that, but it was, again, 20-minute podcast. We didn't go in depth into, so how do you cultivate this beautiful relationship with yourself? I think that one is in September. So check out that masterclass as well. It's in Sandton. I prefer my masterclasses to be small because I want to have conversations with people. I want you to feel like you were able to be heard. I want to hear your story, and no, it's not group therapy. If you feel like you want to not say anything, you're welcome to not say anything. But for the people that do want to have their voice and do want to raise some of the things that they have been thinking and ask questions, I really want to give space into that. So we generally have a really small cohort. I prefer it small, but check out some of those masterclasses. And yeah. So, and the financial masterclass, it's not just me, it's me and a financial person who is a CA, who then helps you with the practicality of what then to do with the money. I tackle the emotional aspect of it, and someone helps you tackle the practical and things that you can start applying if you are in debt, if you do have money and you want to spend, save, invest, all of that stuff. So check out that masterclass. I think it's also in September, end of September. All right, but I will see you in the next one. Alrighty, cheers.